I am delighted to invite CITRIS Merced Director Josh Veers to the podium, virtual podium, for our next Athena Award presentation for academic leadership. Turn it over to Josh.
Fantastic. Well, thank you to the Women in Tech Symposium, and thank you to CITRIS and the Banatao Institute for hosting this fantastic day of information and achievement. And thanks to all of you out in Zoom land for joining us today. It's with great pleasure and with humility that I get to introduce today's Athena Award for Academic Leadership. This year's award winner is Dr. Teenie Matlock. Before joining the UC Merced founding faculty in 2004, she was a research associate at Stanford University and worked at IBM Research. Her research has been groundbreaking, and it's at the heart of human-computer interaction. She's been a pioneer in early digital input devices, and since then has published over 100 peer-reviewed articles spanning cognitive science, psychology, linguistics, and human-computer interaction. She served on numerous editorial boards, including the Cognitive Science Journal, as well as Environmental Communication. She served on the governing boards of the Cognitive Science Society, as well as the National Institute of Health's Language and Communication Study section. She currently serves as the Vice Provost of Academic Personnel at UC Merced, where she's also Professor of Cognitive Science and the McClatchy Chair in Communications. She's an advocate for her community, giving voice to the overlooked. She's a leader in the academy, opening the gates for all to explore new frontiers. And she's here today to accept the Athena Award for Meritorious Achievement in Academic Leadership. Please welcome Dr. Teenie Matlock.
Thank you, Josh, for those kind words. Thank you, CITRIS, for all the work you do to recognize women and promote opportunities for research and partnerships in STEM, technological innovation, sustainability, and much more. I'm really honored to be here today to accept this award for academic leadership. It means a lot to me, especially after last year's recipient, rock star Alice Agogina, professor at UC Berkeley. She's a remarkable role model, and I'm humbled to follow her. In my own academic life, I've learned a few things about leadership over the years, but it wasn't always straightforward. It took a long time to kind of get there, and I'm still not there yet. Some things I've learned include how to build a good work culture, how to help others advance in their careers, whether it's research, teaching, meaningful service contributions, promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion, and other such things. Front and center in being a leader for me, and presumably many of you here today, is mentoring, mentoring, and mentoring. And by mentoring, I mean being mentored yourself, being a mentor to other people, and then last, creating a whole culture where mentoring is valuable and something that's recognized and sought after. A first person look at this, I'll just say a few words about my own academic journey to leadership and how mentoring has helped me and still does help me. I'm grateful to the many mentors along the way and the mentors I still have and work with. I'm from a tiny town in rural California, Mariposa, near Yosemite National Park. I'm first generation, the eldest of 5 kids, from a mixed background, working class, all that. As a kid, I always wanted to go to college, but I had no idea really how to get there. And there was real guidance on this growing up, even though there was a lot of encouragement, pretty bleak prospects, little guidance. I wound up going to Fresno College, a nearby community college, where I studied music. And when I was there, I had this fantastic mentor, his Roberto Rodriguez, and he was an amazing person. He was also first gen. He worked extremely hard, and he knew how to push youth from, variably challenged grounds to get them to do what they needed to do to succeed. And I remember he would often tell us, stop complaining, stop making excuses, get to work. And there wasn't an opportunity to have excuses. You just needed to practice hard and do what you needed to do. In my case, that was to be a good trumpet player. Over the years, I changed my path and I wound up going into more language and cognition kind of research areas. I was a linguistics student at UC San Diego. I was struggling in my first year or two there. And I had this wonderful mentor at UC Berkeley named Professor Eve Sweetser. She's in the linguistics department there. And she knew how to push people too, like Mr. Rodriguez, but she had a different angle. She knew how to model good behavior so that others would learn. And so with me, I was on the side fairly introverted. She taught me how to give a good talk, how to find and develop a good research question, how to build a good research program, and how to be confident. And I really feel grateful to her for that. So in her case, she taught me how to mentor through showing, not telling. And then many years later, I wound up being, after I spent some time at Stanford doing a postdoc and getting a PhD in psychology at UC Santa Cruz, I wound up at UC Merced as a founding faculty member. And we were creating the new campus, doing all this work. And I man, on my first day on the job, named Professor Arthur Woodward. He had come up to UC Merced to help us build the campus. He had been at UCL for 25 or so years. And when he was down there, he did extensive mentoring. There's even a mentoring award named after him, the J. Arthur Woodward Award. And that's one of the early things he hit me with was, again, like Professor Sweetser, showed me what being an academic was about, in this case, being an early career faculty member. And he taught me a lot of things. And one thing that really stood out, and it still does every day I think of it, is what are you doing right now? And why is it important to your own research career, the UC system, et cetera? So he encouraged myself and anybody else at UC Merced interacted with to think very carefully about what you're doing. He cared a lot about that in research, about creating new opportunities for others, about innovation. Very serious guy. And I was sad that he passed away this past fall, a big loss to the UC system. In various roles, as someone who's published a lot of work in cognitive science, a bit in human-computer interaction, linguistics, and other areas, and someone who's taught a lot of students, received teaching awards, and so on, I've found my way into a leadership position. I'm currently the Vice Provost for Academic Personnel at UC Merced. In this role, I help many early career faculty think about what they're doing and why it's important. And I'm also, with my colleagues at UC Merced, Josh and many other people, working hard to ensure that we have a strong, robust culture in mentoring so that our students can succeed, our faculty can succeed, and that so everyone can learn about mentoring and how they can be good mentors as well. And we're seeing the benefit of this. We have great faculty. We have lots to be proud for, even though we're a young campus in the UC system. So my advice to everyone here, whether you're a more advanced person in the UC system or in industry, still get mentoring yourselves. I have a leadership coach. I still lean on others for mentoring. Be a mentor. And when you're a mentor to others, look for diverse opportunities to mentor high school students, early career people in your list, in your work environment. And you can do this, I think, effectively by showing, not just telling, and then create a whole culture of mentoring wherever you go. It's really important. And it's not just important to the people's individual lives and their well-being and all that in their careers. It's actually really important to technological innovation, sustainability, advancements in health, and all the other important work that we value and do. Thank you very much for this award. Much appreciated, and enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you.
Thank you, Teenie, and thank you, Josh. Teenie, I'm glad that you held the award up. I should have mentioned earlier when we had a short photo of it that the Athena Awards were designed by Dan Chapman and produced in our invention lab here at CITRIS. So we're really pleased to have his creativity be a benefit to the Athena Award winners. I really appreciated your remarks about mentorship and wanted to highlight your examples that both men and women can be very effective mentors. And so really call on everyone who might be in the audience and willing to mentor, that's a role that anyone can play to promote the advancement of women.